ready? Let's go. Let's go.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you, Scott. Bradley, what's up, Bubba? Thank you for showing. What time is it over where you at, by the way? This is probably going to be a pretty short. There's a big live going on right now. Awesome folks is having a giveaway. Really don't want to step on nobody, but we got to update you guys on Bobbie. A lot of stuff going on here on the homestead. I know 2 weeks ago we did promise in Jules Gardening Tips that we was going to go live on Saturdays through the cold months. We did miss last Saturday because a bunch of stuff, you guys know, maybe you've been keeping up on the community channel, maybe some of you guys are friends with us on Facebook, so we had a lot of stuff going on, so we didn't go live on Saturday. However, didn't want to say we was going to start going live and just not do it or leave any notification on the community page as of why. We got to get you guys used to us going live on Saturday. Pretty sure it's going to be between 6:30 and 8ish. We don't really like stepping on people, but you got to get your time in there. You know what I'm saying? Rick, thank you for showing up. Scott, thank you for being here. Joey Stewart, as always, we always give you a big hug. Thank you, sweet lady, for showing up, hanging out with us for a little while. We do appreciate your and Scott's Thanksgiving video for, you guys was going to let people come hang out with you if they didn't have where else to go. Awesome stuff. So I'm going to let a few more people get in here because we have had emails. Some of you guys are in our text messages and things like that. So I'm going to update on Bobbie as soon as I get what I think is going to be a peak. It's not going to be a big crowd tonight, guys, because there's a big Jesse and Lisa's live right now. They're doing some awesome stuff over there. I was in there hanging out with them for a while, but we had scheduled this, so like I said, just hard not to step on people, but we're not going to hurt them by no means. Those guys hold their own. Always got 50, 60 people in the chat. Good folks, fun show, but we got to stay in our lane and do our stuff. Jerry, what's going on, man? Thank you for coming in, hanging out with us. I was going to email your picture the other day where we traveled down to South Carolina, and I seen a pretty interesting car, one I ain't never seen before anyway. Pretty neat. So let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Again, Rick, thank you for coming in. I will let you know Bobbie is at home, not out of the woods, but we'll give a really complete update, and then we'll also talk about what happened and caused it all in the first place as soon as we get a few more folks in here. Like I said, we're not probably going to get a big crowd, maybe until they stop. I don't know how long I'm going to be going because, again, I'm by myself. Most of the gurus are doing other things tonight, so it looks like I'm going to be carrying Saturday night. Bobbie obviously will not be in here with me. She may stick her hand in and wave, but it's just me, and I don't really have a whole lot to talk about. We do have clients that we're behind on, guys, so I'm probably going to have to go to work tonight or tomorrow. I've been keeping up with everything while Bobbie's been sick, so I'm either going to have to go to work after this live, or, I can go whenever I want, but still, we got some catching up to do, so it'll either be there tonight or tomorrow. The purpose for the poll, I hadn't even been on YouTube yet. Let me go check. So we got a poll going on. The reason why is because I want to make sure we're still putting out efficient information and videos that are useful. We try not to use a lot of white noise or static stuff. That's just what that's what we post for. We just want to post videos. I know we've been doing some collabs and stuff like that, but we want to post some stuff, Hey, check it out. Long time. Amy, good to see you. That's the Guru family right there. Yeah, we're going to update on Bobbie here in just a little bit. We want to thank everybody for prayers and stuff too. We'll kind of let it get a little bit more congested. We're not expecting the typical 25, 30 people tonight, that's for sure. But yeah, again, on the content, as far as the poll goes, I got a new video coming out for Wednesday. It's already been made and edited and everything like that. But we just wanted to take a poll and make sure that we're putting out video that you guys are not familiar with, if you know what I mean. So if you guys already knew the answer to the question anyway, then it wouldn't be such a useful video. So I'm going to start using the polls and doing things. It's not for the video to come out and prove somebody right or wrong. It's just to make sure that we're putting out information that's useful to you guys instead of repeating stuff that everybody else is doing. I will say the video that you're voting on now has already been made. It's going to step on some toes, probably going to hurt a few feelings, but it's all logical, scientific, proven facts. Like I said, you can't shoot the messenger for just bringing scientific facts, but there's a lot of misinformation about the new video coming out, including adding supplemental heat in the coop. A lot of people don't know if you should. Has to do with territory, where you're at, all kind of stuff. So we're just not going to answer that poll tonight. We're just going to get the overall gist of what your idea is on having chickens. And even if you don't have chickens, what do you think? Just answer the poll, click yes or no. There's no right or wrong, really. The video will be coming out Wednesday. We're going to go in depth on the answer and why, and tell you exactly why it the answer is what it is. John, good to see you, man. I ain't seen you in a while. Well, I've been checking you out, but checking all your videos and stuff out. But I really ain't had a chance to like sit down and come over and hang out with you for a while. I ain't seen a lot of life coming from you either, man. But you've been putting out some good content. Boom. Hey, sweet lady, what's going on? I didn't miss you. I seen you come in, but I was, you know how it goes. All right, y'all. Sorry, going back over here to check and see what we got. So most, oh, it's close. So we got 45 on yeah, 55 on no. Okay, so good. And that tells me right there that the video coming out is going to be pretty useful because we have like a mixture, which is, pretty much what I thought it was going to be. All right. So yeah. Anyway, like I said, I don't know how long I'll be able to hang with you guys. I'll probably go to work tonight later. William just showed up, so he's in there hanging out with his mom. So I was able to go ahead and fulfill my promise of going live this coming Saturday. All right. So I can't remember. Nobody's in here to ask. Anyway, I've been getting some email about the new material that's been coming. Our first shipment came day before yesterday. Not a sponsor, but we did get some of the DAWG barrier that we're going to be putting down in a total different way than you see most people do it. We've been putting this system together probably for about a year on plan. I have been planning it on computer, so we're going to bring some barrier in from DAWG. I think it's somewhere around 5 ounces on the thickness. That's how they're measuring. They're not doing mils; they go by the ounces. Somewhere around 300 foot long, 25 year, which is bullcrap. We all know that. They say that's the strength, not the warranty, but 25 years. Don't make any sense. But anyway, we're going to be putting some of that down. We will be replacing it about every 4 years, which means you guys that's been following us along know that means we're doing a total reset on everything we have here as far as gardening goes. So we're going to record every bit of that as soon as we start, which was going to be today, but it started raining and the tiller we have is massive. Like it's huge. It's the biggest one you can get without riding on it. And it gets stuck really easy because our soil is like walking right now where we worked it for 4 years. It's like walking on a cloud. So it'll get sunk up and it's been raining. I think we've got about an inch and 3/4 so far. So I'm not going to be doing any of that now today, but when we do start, I'm going to record it step for step so you guys can follow along because this coming year, we're going to be doing a complete weed free gardening. Like we're going to show you guys how to not ever bend over and pull another weed the entire time you're doing your garden. So that's our goal. I'm getting old and I'm not going to keep getting on my knees or using, tractors. I'm not tilling my soil anymore. So I sit down, like I said, for about a year and design the system. And this year we're going to be doing it. So a lot of stuff is going to be pulled up, reset. A lot of things that you guys seen us work really hard to get established is going to be totally wiped out and done away with. So we'll be making those videos. So 10 may be our peak right now, guys, for probably the next 30 or 40 minutes. Like I said, there's two big lives going on right now. So we don't really know exactly what caused the infection. About 3 weeks ago, some of you know me and Bobbie and the kids all made a trip down to South Carolina to visit Homestead Fresh. We did not take videos. We didn't make a video. We don't do that when we go hang out with our friends unless it's for the purpose of making a video. First time we met these guys in person, so we just wanted to hang out. We did eat some chili that they fixed. We stayed there for quite a few hours before we drove back home that day. On the way back, Bobbie started rubbing her face and said she kind of felt numb, itchy, a little bit with some pain. She said she had been feeling something there for a couple of days, but she thought it was going to go away. So that following weekend, it got worse drastically. It started going, her eyes started swelling first. Not like an abscess tooth, but it was just in her mouth area. Started under her lower lip and started spreading. Ashley, thank you for showing up. Thank you very much. So it got, like I said, it got bad really fast. Under her nose started swelling. Both of her eyes went black. So she went to the doctor. They gave her some antibiotics. She took those for 3 or 4 days. They did nothing. It seemed like it got even worse. So she left there and went to an emergency dentist appointment. They gave her a different type of antibiotic, which was stronger. Sent her back home. She took those. It got even more worse. So she finally, I told her to get up, go to the emergency room. She stayed there for a couple of days on IV. It got so bad at that point. What happened was they started on the IV on two of the strongest antibiotics they could give her. Almost, there's two more just as powerful, but that's it. Nothing else that they could give her other than the two that they were saving. So they kept her on the two next to the strongest for a couple of days. Not a lot happened. All they wanted to do was stop it, to keep it from spreading so fast. So she stayed there a couple of days. They asked her if she wanted to go home. They gave her a choice, and then that don't make any sense. But anyway, they gave her a choice. She did come home. It kind of resided. It didn't go away. It just kind of seized a little bit and did spread, but it was still there. The massive everything was just, you know how it is when you swell up. The pressure causes pain also. So she made another emergency dentist appointment, and when she went in, we had no idea what was happening. We just thought they was going to find a tooth or somewhere at a good location because there was so much infection. They said it wasn't an abscess tooth. If it was a whole row, which is more than unlikely. They was just trying to drain the infection. So what we thought was they was just going to take a tooth out and have an open hole there where they could drain some of the infection. And it was also going to use a tool or a machine to suck some of that infection out, which is what they did. But they also decided just to take out everything that she had going on as far as teeth in the top goes. So they just took it. They ripped everything out. They had not like ripped it out. They did do oral surgery, but they took everything out. We didn't have no ideas that she was going to lose all her teeth on the top. That's how bad it was. So now the update is she's back home. Some of the places are left open for infection to drain. She does have stitches in some places. She's still on the two antibiotics, and as far as we can tell, there is some uh, receding on the infection part. So the swelling is starting to go down. And we're going to thank everybody. We just want to get on and thank everybody for the prayers. Update you. She's not out of the woods yet. It's really, really slow. And it's kind of scary when you get an infection and the medicines they give you don't work because eventually they keep switching antibiotics until they've reached everything that they have. And eventually you go septic from the infection getting in your bloodstream and you die. It's not uncommon for people to die from having mouth infections. Like I said, this wasn't necessarily a bad tooth. It was just an infection that started in her mouth. They don't know if it was at the root of a tooth, if it was an accident, a bump, or who knows what it was. But whenever it started, it spread really, really fast, which is scary for future infections because now you know that when you take the strongest antibiotic, it's not working. There's not a lot of options left for you. The only thing they can do after that is to cut and drain or scrape on a monthly basis. And we've heard of people having 96 to 100 surgeries in 2 or 3 years having that same stuff done. So that's why it wasn't just, you know, normal dentist office visit. She had been to every appointment she had was pretty much an emergency appointment to try to hurry up and get it to stop. So that's where we're at. She's here. She is up and moving around. I'm still doing the homeschool, and I went over and I'm out on the field now, taking over the clients, doing all the cleaning and everything else. She did go with me to the last job. I had never been there before. It was a brand new client. It was a residential. It was called the Animal Art Vet Hospital and Funeral. It's a pretty big place. Got 2 or 3 levels on it. I think it's two. And she had to go with me, just kind of point. She loved that anyway. Me doing all the cleaning, and Bobbie's like, "You got to do this and that." So that's the only time she did go out. Didn't do a whole lot, and I'm getting ready to go back tonight or tomorrow. So I just wanted to get on here and you know keep my promise about going live on Saturday. So here we are. Um, so yeah, the Wednesday video is already done. Again, it's just something. It's one of the biggest. Let me see, how do I say this without it? It's one of the biggest controversial topics as far as chickens go. It's number one in the discussion of. I know I'm all over the place here, but it's really number one on as far as like debating. It's really crazy. But heat in the chicken coop or for your chickens is number one, and it has been for at least the last 5 years. There's all kind of groups on Facebook. Some people are getting banned for because the topics and the discussions are getting so heated. I figured I'd go ahead and just make one. I think the video is probably going to be around 6 minutes, maybe, which is the longest one we put out in a while. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to probably step on a few toes. I did step on a few toes, probably. I know there's a lot of big channels out there that say you do one thing and the other channels you do other things. And I just think it's BS to put out misinformation for the sole purpose of making money because you're telling people the wrong thing to do with something they spend a lot of money on. So, do you or don't you? It's not really easy, which is why I thought it was a really good video. And I tried my best not to touch on that one for a while because it's got so heated. And some of the ones that I have been doing, when you get monetized, you can start getting deeper into analytics and you can actually see who unsubs and who don't, or how many you did actually lose on a video. And it happens quite often, especially when you bust a myth that somebody believed for so long. Like my grandpa, uh, or I've heard somebody say 100 times, well, my grandpa is always talking about using vest for chickens while they're molting. Just stuff that's just been handed down for generations, but at the same time, it's completely false. It doesn't work. There's no scientific proof that it works. And sometimes there's a lot of scientific method or proof why it absolutely don't work. And when I put it out, you kind of step on people the wrong way and they'll leave or whatever. But that's not what we're here for. We've been doing videos the whole time for friends and family in case, same old thing, just kind of like a journal, a video journal. So if it happens, it happens. We don't care. That's not what we do. As long as we're putting out 100% true information, that's all we really worry about. That way we can turn around and back up what we say with the truth. And, you know, people come and go. What can you say? You can't make everybody happy. So, and that is an awesome decision, Ashley. I'm telling you, it's just chickens right now are more popular. I did look the other day, y'all. This is crazy. See, it's been a long time since I went and priced chicks because me and Bobbie's always did our own chicks. We have, most of you guys know, we created our own breed about 7 years ago, and this became really popular, especially in South Carolina, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Virginia. Like, this became really popular, and we gave out a bunch of chicks to people, not really sold them, but test them in different areas and see what everybody else has thought of them. It's been going around for a while, but um, anyway, Ashley, it's not a. It don't matter really what kind of chicken, but adding chickens to your homestead is the number one thing you can do. I went yesterday just to look and see what the going price was for chicks, and I don't know. I think it was Myers, the first one I went to. I went to Cackle. I went a bunch of them, but I went mostly to the North Carolina ones first. And the chicks that are coming out for spring, back in the day when I would order chicks, that was around 365 to 545. Sometimes you would get a rare one for $6, right? And if you chose no vaccination or whatever, then that's pretty much what you paid per chick. They would ship them to you. You'd go to the post office, pick them up, and you go from there, right? So I went to, like I said, I don't know. I'll look and see. I'll probably put it on the community page, but I think it was Cackle Hatchery. No, it was Myers. I was looking for a certain breed, and I looked at just the overall price of chicks, and I can't believe it's ridiculous. Like every chicken I went and clicked on, and I would just put three in a box. Like I would do a trio. I would do a breeding trio of a male and two females for three chickens, no vaccinations, no special nothing. And we're talking $115 for three baby chicks. No jokes, guys. I remember when I could get 25 baby chicks shipped to me and everything for like 35, $40. And each one of them got a Merrick's vaccination along with it. So if you're planning on getting into chickens or getting another breed of chicken or adding anything to your homestead like that as far as chickens go, you might ought to start getting some from local. I mean, if you're gonna get hatcheries, that's fine. Do it now because as far as the projected price that we've been looking up on the chicken calculator, I'll leave a link to that too, probably in this live stream. There's one that shows you the genetics of chicken. There's another calculator that's telling you the economic. It's the economic version of telling you what the projected price of chickens are going to be in the next year or so. And with vaccinations and one chick from, let's say, uh, Sapphire Gem, that's one that I did look at. You're looking at 35, $40 a chick. No joke, guys. I'll pop it on the community page. So I was like, okay, these people are ridiculous. I'm going to go back to some of the other ones because this is just right. I can drive and get the chicks for cheaper than they even wanted to ship them to me. So I went to like six different ones and then left North Carolina. Well, North Carolina that I have listed for four big ones, and then I ignored the rest. Tennessee, there's two. Um, I got some in a bunch of states around us, and everybody was exactly the same. If you didn't pay $35 for a chick for one baby chick, then you wasn't at the right place. You was at somebody's little backyard hatchery. Seriously, it's ridiculous. Black copper Morans, anything like that, that they're considered specialty chicks, you're looking at $45 a chick. And when you first look at your pricing, they're like 10, 11, $12. But then when you actually add the chick to the cart, it goes crazy. And you're like, you're paying $25. And then, like I said, if you go down and uncheck everything, like you don't want vaccinations, everything that they're trying to stick on there, nope, it's still the same. So we haven't actually like started selling a complete line of chicks yet. I took that down off of the website because of the licenses and fees and stuff like that so far. But it's best to just decide on the breed that you want and try to find a local source. Do a lot of research though, because local sources are really uh, bad for accidentally letting bloodline in, and they'll be perfect when you get them, but then when you actually breed them and have chicks, you'll have some crazy off the wall color, and you're like, how the crap do two blue chickens make a yellow chicken? It's because chickens can hold on to their grandparents' genetics and it never show up again for a little while, so you can't let one uh, other bloodline in. And when it comes to chickens, one breeding, a hen will hold that deposit and can fertilize 15, 20 eggs before that runs out. So, and how they do that is they'll store it in cells and then they'll add fat drops. Each each cell, they'll add fat drops on top of that, and it'll coagulate. And that way, she can use it over a period of time without that sample going bad. So they can spread it for 15 to 20, like 15 days maybe is the longest that they can spread that breeding sample that they have. So it's pretty crazy. And if you get just one rooster gets to one hen accidentally, it's over with for a while. You got to do a cleanse, what we call a cleanse, and then you have to start your breeding over again. And when you go to local homesteads, they can't promise you that. A lot of times when they do get chickens, they're not really full bred anyway, unless you are actually getting them from a hatchery. And again, uh, we don't really do that either, but we don't put anybody else down for doing it. Anyway, I'm babbling because I don't got anything else to talk about. But actually, that's great. Anybody that's adding chickens to the homestead, you can't go wrong because it's just getting ridiculous right now because they're becoming so popular. Also, for those that you don't know, I think nobody knows except for maybe Voon, but I'm also writing a book about chickens. Been doing it for about 6 months now. It's going to be a long time before it comes out, but I'm dropping as much knowledge as I possibly can into the first book, which will probably be on Amazon, like maybe on the Kindle platform. And then the second book is going to be how to utilize those chickens in the garden. And then that's probably going to be pretty much it for me as far as books go. But I've had a lot of people that's asked me, tell me I should do it. And then I finally got some help from somebody said, well, if you do it, we'll help you, get the book out there and edit it and all that stuff. So I'm started working on it a while back, and who knows when it'll come out. But everything in there, everything that I can possibly think of that's going to go in there for a beginner chicken owner, like somebody that wants chickens or going to get them for the first time. It'll take you from finding the book will start out helping you find a breed that's perfect for where you're at or what you're looking for. Separates them down from where they all came from and how they'll all fare from where you're living at, and then breaks down in sections of meat, egg layers. So you got dual purpose egg layers, things like that. It'll break them down for you and help you decide what you want to utilize the chickens for, and then it'll break down from the time your chickens come home, setting up brooders, everything you need to know to raise the baby chick, all the way up to putting them outside, acclimating them to outside weather, all the way down to breeding them. So as much information as we can pour in the book is that's what I'm doing. So it's going to be a while, but then once you do get that book, you're pretty much not really going to need another chicken manual because it'll take you all the way down to the expert steps of genetics. But it's broke down in terms to where if you put two blue chickens together, you're not going to get two blue, all blue chickens. You're going to get 50% blue, 25% black, 25% splash. Like scientifically proven, that's how it's going to break down. And so that way you're guaranteed what colors you're going to get when you put what chickens together. Also talks about crossbreeding, hybrids, auto sex, all kinds of things. So by the time you get done with that book, the only thing you'll need to know is the ratio of fertilizers that they put out and how much per square footage in the garden and how we utilize them and things of that nature. So we're going to see what happens with it. It's been fun so far. Bobbie and Jamie, one of my best friends, just kept pelting me, and then a few other people with all the email we get when I put out a chicken video. We have like a section where we've had to break it down in all of our chicken emails. Just in the past 3 months, I've got 1,280 some emails, and it's all about chicken information. It's asking questions, just making statements, or thanking me for a certain video I put out. So I figured, what? Why not? If I'm doing all this stuff and I'm taking hours at a time answering people's emails, now we've got the memberships to where these people can actually call me on the phone personally. If you have the MB Fanatic level, you can just pick up the phone and call and say, "Hey, listen, my chicken's doing so and so. I don't know what's going on." Then you personally have me on the line. I'm not a vet or nothing like that, but I've been through enough before where we can at least work it out together, and you'll feel pretty good when we get off the phone. And if I don't know it, then I'll pick up the phone and we'll get somebody on who knows what they're talking about. So anyway, that's another thing a lot of you guys don't know. I maybe later on, I think somewhere around next fall, I'll start dropping some little segments out so you guys can see what the introduction at least is going to be like for the book. And we'll bring it out as relatively as cheap as we can. So now I should go back and catch up on the chat. This way, it gives me some more stuff to talk about. Yes, Bradley, it's like ridiculous, man. And I'm like a lot of these hatcheries. I used to make videos not on purpose, but I used to see people like Ann, little Frenchie in Big Texas. She had got some blue laced red Wyandottes from a hatchery, and there's nothing wrong with it. We got chicks from a hatchery before. We did it quite often until we decided we wanted to take our two favorite breeds and make what was best for a homestead. She had got some blue lace red Wyandottes from a certain hatchery, and when she did a video on them, they wasn't blue lace red Wyandottes. They were splash Wyandottes, two totally different birds. If you take two splash Wyandottes and put them together, all you're going to get is splash Wyandottes. You're never going to get any other color, including blue. So I was kind of confused on, and I was like, I know these people know what they're talking about. So I went back to the hatchery, and the actual hatchery has the chicken listed as a blue laced red Wyandotte, and it's not even close. They're two different chickens. If you take two blues and put them together, and then you guys what would happen, you get these three different colors. Splash is one of those 25% rarities, and it's a white chicken with red lacing. There's maybe a little blue on the tails, but it's a white splashy chicken. You can tell the difference. So there's so much misinformation out there, even from the so-called chicken experts. You know, a lot of people are reading stuff from books online, off of line, and reading them on videos, and they're reading so fast you're like, what are they talking about? You could learn from it, but they don't really go back and explain why. But they can sure tell you that you need to pay $55 for a chicken, and before it does get delivered to you, you're going to have to get the Marek's disease for this. It's just ridiculous when you could probably fix a lot of that with toothpaste. However, we do know there's a different side of cowpox that will kill your chicken. It's the wet part. But it's ridiculous. It's spreading everywhere. It's just not in the U.S. Canada, I've heard people just canceling straight out orders and just not even getting chickens because of the prices, because they went from 25 bucks for a flock to where now people's paying $175 just for six chickens. It's just not right. I can't believe, and I'm sorry it's happening over there, but as far as Australia goes, they're pretty proud of some of the stuff that they do sell and some of the laws that they have. It was, if you're talking about South Carolina Boone, it was a lot of fun. I wish you guys could have came with us, but they're only like, come to find out when we find out where they lived at, they're only like 2 hours away. We could have been having get-togethers with them like a long time ago. We just didn't realize how close they were until we actually put their address in the GPS, and because we didn't have that before. Sorry, Bobbie come in to get something, and I forgot my place. Yeah, it's different, Bradley. I don't know um, what other types of barriers that people are using, but I know a lot of people are using the landscape. They call it landscape fabric, right? And you can even get it from Walmart, and it's like this. It looks like this little thin layer of insulation or fiberglass. Um, that's definitely the wrong stuff to use. That's an under barrier, but a lot of people do use it, and they just try to keep replacing it, or they'll put stuff over it like mulch. Once you put stuff over top of it, you're automatically just going to be planting more seed in. So, uh, one of the things that I'm worried about with this system is the solarizing of the soil, because the soil is going to be completely covered. So we will see. You know, you guys will get to do an epic fail, or it'll turn out great. Who knows? I know I missed something. I had another one highlighted here, but I don't have my sidekick with me to poke me and say, "Hey, shut up and read the chat." That's a good thing. Well, I see. Yeah, you guys are in Texas, so that's not pretty bad. That's pretty good. Us here, like say we live in North Carolina, if we had a chicken source, what we would have to do was make sure that it was at least one state away. Because when you order baby chicks, if I was to go grab some of those same $4 chicks, I might have two by the time they got here. Just a 24-hour shipping period alone is enough. You guys know when you buy chicks, you'll get them. And in the next couple of days, while you are raising your chicks, everybody tells you, including the hatchery, prepare to lose three or four just because of the shipping process and all of the, stacking, what we call chick stacking, where they get on top of each other, trying to stay warm. And the little warmers that they put in there only last 24 hours. So you got a very short time. That's why people in North Carolina try to stay with Virginia, Tennessee, South Carolina, bordering states. I would love to get some $4 chicks, but they would all die before we got here. So stick with that, dude, because it's all starting over here on the East Coast anyway. That's where all the crazy hatchery prices are going, and eventually it's going to spread like a virus over to where you're at. So you guys better be snatching up those $5 and $6 chicks while you can, because they're not going to go back. Once, I mean, they may revert some, but they're not ever going to go back to the prices they are now. People are scared. They're homesteading. They're starting out gardening, and everybody's starting to do a little bit of something. And the chicken seems to be the number one thing people go to first before they grab goats, pigs, and ducks, turkeys, and things of that nature. Chickens is always just the first thing people go for. Cecilia, what's going on? Sorry, yeah, you know how I am when I chat. I'm worse than anybody else about ignoring the chat. Okay, we're having egg discussion. I need a sniper and panel to help me out. Beat some. Right, that's a good idea, Bradley. If it don't flop, if it don't flop. We're hunting Jay and Joe. John, I didn't even see you in here, man. Thank you very much if you're still in here. Sorry I missed you. Flapping my gums. But John was one of our very first followers, man. He's been around for 2 years. So love and appreciate you, brother. And I like what you do over there. Most of the time, channels like that's dropping, man. It's one of a kind. So keep on doing what you're doing. All right, I think I'm caught up as far as saying hey to people, and I got to figure out what are we talking about. I seen eggs and chicken. It really is, Steve. I wouldn't even have started it, honestly. I wouldn't even have done it if somebody hadn't stepped up and said, okay, if you'll do it, then I'll put in some extra effort on helping get it edited and turn it into an actual book and an ebook. So I have no idea. I'm not like, I'm not a writer. So I've got some information to put out, but I have no idea. I can imagine somebody editing my, it's going to be double the price. It's going to be funny. I wish I could be there watching the person edit the book that I write, especially the way jibber jabber, blah blah blah. Josh, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, y'all, I had an order up here. I might have deleted it. I got the screen minimized right now. I had a chick order up here. I was going to show you guys. Let me see. I think I might have found it. Ba-ba-da. Check it out. Okay, here we go, guys. I'm going to share this freaking screen with you. It's even got the name of the hatchery, but I don't care. It's public. This is a public site that they're selling chicks on. And this was 3 days ago when I did this one, I think. And I screenshotted it. So let me see if I can share it with you guys real quick. This is no joke. And again, this is for this round. This was the cheapest ones I had found, and this is what made me mad. This is the cheapest one. I was allowed to add the Merrick's coccidiosis, the vaccination, the main one we tell you guys to do get if you get your chicks. Each chick would get that, and we wanted 3 pullets. And because they was going to be shipping a little bit further away than one state, we can make sure we got 2 males in the same breed. So we was actually only getting 5 chicks. And I'll share this with you. I know I said it 100 times, but I'm trying to. There we go. I was minimized. All right, here we go. Now, there we are. I think most of y'all can read that, right? So they're blue copper morans. They're not black. It's just a different color chicken. They are blue. So what I done was I dropped 3 females. They're going to be 1 day old. I dropped them in there, and as you can see, they're $45. And then I had 2 roos, and they charged me $40 for those. Now this is the reason why I did say this is because this is the cheapest one that I could find. The highest price one was so ridiculous, I figured people would think I maybe made it up. But it's in the trash. It's in the recycling bin. I will get it back out and put it on the community page. But this is ridiculous. So, but I mean, this is what you're going to run into if you want to make sure you really do have purebred chickens. But at the same time, you got to make sure the hatchery you're getting them from is not mislabeling them because they're selling chickens and labeling them one type when they're not that type, which is telling you they're not. They don't know as much as they do. They just kind of. I'm sorry, I hate to say that, but it's the truth. It's just the truth. If you're going to sell a red star and name it Rhode Island Red, you don't know how to identify chickens. I don't think you should be selling them because now you have 25% of the people actually believe that's what they have because they don't know any better. You were supposed to be the expert, right? And you're supposed to at least know the names of the chickens that you have. It's yeah, That's ridiculous, man. But it's going to happen everywhere you go. So if you're really interested in getting chickens, you might want to go ahead and bite the pew pew now, because it's just going to get worse. That site that I just went to said the projection they're going to be up 25% overall price by just next year. We're in December already. Next year's already coming around. So, they would say, they was trying to say, okay, well, if you don't get them now, it's going to be $142 with everything plus the shipping next year. So, I'm like, okay, that sounds like a threat, or you're trying to get me to hurry up and do it. But I do believe it's going to happen because everybody else is saying the same thing. So, yeah, guys, I can't even believe it still. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy. Francis, what's going on? And I also seen Rattletrap. I seen Curtis in here too. And I'm sorry, dude, I'm not ignoring you. There you are. Curtis, thank you, man, for coming in. I was in your last live. I ain't got no more notifications. Of course, we all know how YouTube works. You may have went if you did and I missed some. Sorry, but it's good to see you back too, Francis. Both of y'all getting back in on the fishing and making videos. That's awesome. You guys keep it up. I'll be back over and holler at you soon. Just really stupid busy right now. Yes, we do, Cecilia. But what we do is we only breed our Cochin Bantams, which is the small shell chickens with the feathered feet, the really micro chicken. We breed those only to better the breed and keep our supply going. We have people that do like a reservation, and we'll breed some for them. Not that high, of course, but we do breed their show chickens. So we breed some for people that ask. We'll put them on a list, and we'll get them up to a certain age that they won't. Sometimes we'll even brood them for them, keep them until they get some juvenile feathers. And we also breed our Midas Gold, which is a breed that we made from the Golden Comet, which is a hybrid chicken that lays more eggs than any other chicken in the U.S. That is a hybrid chicken. Now, if you're talking about the heritage breed, I know some of you guys are going to look it up and go, it's a Leghorn. Leghorn is the heritage breed that lays the most eggs in the United States, but the Golden Comet lays more than any other chicken in the world, but it's a hybrid. Uh, so, in other words, if you took two Golden Comets together and bred them, you wouldn't get Golden Comets anymore. You would get the mom and the dad of what made those. So, if you want to actually make your own Gold Comets, you would have to have the mother and the father of two different breeds and keep breeding them to make Golden Comets. What we done was we took a Gold Comet and a Buff Orpington and bred them, and then we hand selected bred each time we was doing a breeding to make sure we bettered that breed and culled out the stuff that we didn't want. And all we wanted to do was increase the egg laying ability of a Buff Orpington who liked colder weather more. Orpington's like a Viking chick. They like a lot more cold, you know. Heat affects a chicken more than cold weather does. So we wanted that hearty, fat, plump chicken. It looks like big fat chickens, like granny apron chickens with big fat bottoms. That's the kind of chickens we wanted. Golden Comets lay more eggs, but they're just a slender, more flighty chicken, and they're pretty freaking smart when it comes to escaping. Why? Because they was bred from a Rhode Island Red, and that's the you guys know our top five chicken breeds. Rhode Island Red barely made it on there because they're so, I don't know, they're inquisitive. Them guys can figure out how to get out of a coop quicker than any other chicken breed. So, and they're flighty. If you don't get it tall enough or put a top over, they're flying out, especially the females. Um, so, we wanted to make sure that we took the Buff Orpington and Gold Comet and bred it down. Now that we have our own breed, every time we breed, it is a Midas Gold. We have signaled all that out. We almost got recognized, but we wanted to get away from all the politics of, the National Poultry Association. While they used to be uh, holding really good values, it's more political now, and we really don't want to get into all that. But we do breed now just specifically to better our breeds, keep our stock going, and we do sell some, but we only have three specific breeds here on our homestead right now. Next spring, we're going to wipe most of those out as far as swap. We're going to be getting rid of some of the chickens that we like. We have some sporadic breeds where we was making the Onyx Fire chicken. Some of those that was pulled out and cull. They're not. We don't make cull as in process or dispatch. Cull means remove them. Just like if you're fishing in a tournament, cull a fish by just removing it and putting it somewhere else. You're not dispatching or killing it. So we did cull some of the other chickens from the Onyx Fire, and those chickens are going to new homes next year. We are going to be completely depleting our homestead of blue lace red Wyandottes. I'm just they're the friendliest chickens you can have on your homestead. They're really big, not enough eggs for us. Um, they're really poor layers compared to what we do have here, and they're really big. They eat a lot more food, and they just I don't know. It's just something that I'm just not going to be keeping on the homestead. They're not efficient enough for me. Beautiful birds, some of the prettiest birds you can get, but they just mostly hang out and eat food. They're kind of lazy, but they lay out in the garden. They don't work as hard as those more active chickens. They don't turn as much dirt, but they eat more food, and they lay half as many eggs as the rest of our chickens. So we're going to be getting rid of quite a few breeds and resetting some of those too when we do our gardening this year. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm really bad with chat. I don't have Bobbie, like I said, over here punching me in the ribs, saying you're ignoring my buddy. He was saying so. I'm really sorry. Oh, thank you, Cecilia. It was that was a pretty cool little saw. I had seen a bunch of people do like 12 and 15-minute reviews on that hashtag on the saw. There was lots of details out there where people really broke it down. So I figured I would just make like a quick commercial. I didn't see anybody do that, so I just tried to put as much information on it as I could. But it was fun. I like to do that kind of stuff. It's like creative for me, but it's a pretty useful tool. I know after you first use it and get it started, you have to stop after about an hour, and they give you like this little socket wrench. It looks like a pipe, and you have to tighten the chain one time. That's it, and you get all the new wear and tear because it's not completely tightened up. But it's after you get it tightened down. So far, we've used it on two or three trees, cut through a 4x4 with it, and all kind of stuff. So it's right now it's doing pretty good, and it's maybe 50% what I'm going to put it through this summer. But for swapping it, getting it free for a video, it was well worth it. So if you guys get an email, it's a good saw. They offer you that for a review. You do not have to give a positive like some of these companies are trying to get you to do. You can give an honest review whether you like it or not, and then you keep the saw for free for the video. I was going to do a big, long, detailed one, but everybody had already did that, so I just wanted to be different. Peanuts, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Hope all is well up there on your way. Not too wet. I know we're getting hammered right now with a bunch of rain. Yeah. And that's easy. That's really easy, Steve, to find chickens. That I mean, most of the heritage breeds are what I call Viking chickens anyway. And a lot of your bantams and pet chickens were established in Asia, of course. The smaller chicken, and they used it at first for fighting, and then later on it was switched over as a pet ornamental chicken, and the more game slash heritage crosses had turned into the more fighting cocks. But now all that's pretty much outlawed, and we already know. Um, there's a few states that still try to hold that stuff up, but nowadays it's all heritage breeds and pets really, and the hybrids that's coming in. Uh, if you guys are really going to be getting chickens, Joey, here you are doing it again. Thank you very much. We sure appreciate you and Scott. But if you're going to be getting chickens, the best thing to do is stick with heritage breeds. Most of them come from the upper cold areas anyway. Like I call heritage breeds, they're Viking chicks. They're always going to breed true bloodline, and dude, they can handle pretty much anything. You just pick your best one. Make sure you get the one that's going to eat a decent amount of food, but still give you the same amount of eggs. Turn a lot of dirt if you're going to use them in the garden, Steve. But yeah, man, as long as you stay with those heritage breeds and the Viking chicks, you don't have to worry about cold-hearted breeds. You'll be just fine. If you start messing with hybrids and stuff like that, those will be the ones that might lay off when they get like really hot. But they're still breeding these chickens in a crazy way. Like the Gold Comet, will lay almost an egg every day through the entire year, and the White Leghorn hadn't even did that yet. But again, they're hybrid. You can't breed them once you get them on your homestead. Think about it. It's pretty smart. I mean, if they're going to sell you chickens for $45 a freaking chick, eventually, And you start buying hybrids because they give you way more eggs, turn way more dirt, eat less food. Well, when you buy them and you want more, you can't make them at home. You go back to the same dum dum that's selling you the same chicken for $45. You see what I'm saying? Hybrids are a good thing, don't get me wrong, but it seems like to me they're just wanting these hatcheries are starting to weed out the stuff that you can be more sustainable in your homestead. Like they don't really want you to buy breeding trios no more. If you do, then now you're paying more for a cockerel than you are a hen. When most of us know if you got 6 hens and you paid $7 a piece for them with vaccinations, you would get a free rooster, or if you bought a rooster, they'd give you a free one in case that one died and the roosters was 250. Now they just want to raise the roosters so high where you don't breed, and they want you to buy hybrids. So if you do, then you're going to get this concocted mixture of mom and dad. It's not going to be the same chicken. You're just going to get the mom or you're going to get the dad, and you'll have a mixed flock. So if you think about it from their point of view, what they're doing is shisty, but it's smart as far as the business point goes. They don't want you to be you know who I'm talking. They don't want you to be sustainable. They want to try to stop as much of that as they can. A lot of it to me is ignorance. I really don't believe a lot of the hatcheries are in government conspiracy and all that stuff. A lot of it is ignorance because there's so much misinformation and information is lost. I think it's best if we stick to research versus what somebody else said. And just because he's had chickens for 55 years and his grandpa was a so-called expert with no papers to prove it, handing out 50% of the stuff they're putting out is false, you're going to get a lot of stuff lost there. So, I mean, again, guys, the coldness and the heat both affect chickens in a negative way. The video coming out Wednesday is as much information as I can put on the subject. But again, because I put so much in there, I have debunked a few channels that have quite a few million subs, big chicken channels, and I debunked some of and it wasn't on purpose. It's just truth. That's all it is. It's just truth. I don't, we're monetized, like guys, but I think our first monthly payment was like $85. We didn't even make enough to get paid yet. We're not doing it for the monetization or money part. We just want to put out the truth. And if we're going to start paying $50 for a chick, somebody better know what they're talking about. So again, I think it's best if you guys get your chickens, get you some heritage breeds or Viking chickens and start breeding for yourself, and try to stay away from, like I said, hatcheries ain't bad, but you got to know which one you're buying from and read the labels and make sure you're getting the chicken that they're trying to sell you. It's okay, Bradley. I'm missing so much chat and good folks coming here to spend time with me, and half the time I'm not even highlighting. I'm missing half of what they're saying. But hey, I made it an hour without Bobbie or anybody on panel, rambling like a madman from all kind of different things. Yes, yeah, it is. We got the very first time actually we bought some Rhode Island Reds once. And this was specifically out of just put them in a coop and tearing down some grass because we had just moved here. The first year we got here on Bobbie's homestead to help her dad. So we got, I think, 12 hatching eggs from somebody about 30 miles down the road here. And she was really popular for Rhode Island Reds. Good bloodline, awesome lady. Uh, everyone hatched. Everyone hatched. But I had seen that the eggs was after we hatched the eggs and we were able to sex them. I seen the eggs was stored at an improper temperature, and the only eggs that hatched were roosters, except for two. So, and you can't make sex by temperature, but at the same time, if the eggs aren't stored properly, you're only going to have a certain breed to hatch. So what I'm saying. So, and I covered that in the video also. If if your incubators, if you store your eggs at say a higher temperature, you're going to kill off most of a certain sex, and if your eggs are stored at a cooler temperature, then you're not changing the sex of the egg. You're just actually ruining your chances of that sex being hatched when you do. So yeah, we got the eggs and ran them through normal incubation like we do everything else, and almost every one of them was roosters. Which again, good bloodline, sweet lady, had sold tons of eggs, but just didn't store them the right way. So if you're going to store your eggs, you get you an old refrigerator and you back it off as much as you can. Store your eggs around 55 to 60. I wouldn't go over 61 degrees, and keep them that way no more than 7 days when you're getting ready to hatch. Now I'm going to go through here to see if I can find some stuff to highlight and answer some questions because let's see, raising lambs is getting expensive too. The farm's probably by me. Yeah. See, I didn't figure it was just chickens. I know everything's going to start going up, but if it's just at the rate, like it was ridiculous. I remember not long ago you could get a bottle of water for like 99 cents from the same store on the way home from the hospital with Bobbie. Let's say we drove to what was it, Lincolnton, I think it was. Anyway, it was a couple hours away from home that we had to go, and I stopped at the plain old dollar store or whatever you guys have there, Dollar Ram or whatever, and the Aquafina that you normally get for 99 cents was 2.75 for a regular bottle of water. And if you wanted a Coke or a Dr Pepper, which we normally paid $1.89 for the 20 ounces, now 2 for 10. It's everything's doubled, so I'm sure it's going to go trickle down through everything. But as far as farm animals and chickens and goats, it is freaking ridiculous, and it would not be happening, guys. It would not be happening if it wouldn't getting so popular. You know, chickens wouldn't get so high. They wouldn't be scrambling to put out as much chickens as they could. You know, mislabeling everything. It's going to get worse. So just if you're planning on getting them, grab you some. If you have some, breed more because if you got a good bloodline, you could be a good local source. But don't advertise on Facebook too much because eventually they'll force you to have license at your homestead. If you start selling hatching eggs and baby chicks, you will get hammered. You will have to be certified to be doing so. And I miss Lazy Acres. I did. Look at that. Bobbie's family, real family in here. Sorry, y'all, but I'm in their live all the time anyway. They go live a couple of times. They also got a new channel called Lazy Mace where they're cooking. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't think they need anything like that down there, John. I actually mentioned that in the video too. I mentioned Florida. That's because I was talking about if you wanted to see what it felt like to be a chicken, you know, in Florida, then dress up like you're getting ready to visit Canada and go to Florida on their 109-degree days, and you'll see what it feels like. So yeah, I don't think no chicken down in Florida needs any kind of heater, but they do sell them, guys. You can get your like your omelet doors, the little automatic chicken doors that run off solar, and it'll open the door and let the chickens out, and then close at nighttime. That same company makes uh, all kind of stuff that goes in coops and stuff. I'll cover it all. Like I said, it's a controversial video, and I make those once in a while to put out the truth. So yeah, I guess pretty much everything next year is just going to be a big reset. Uh, and I went almost for an hour. I want to thank everybody for coming in. And like I said, there was some big lives going on tonight. I know we weren't going to have our normal crowd in there. Didn't want to mess with those folks anyway. I almost canceled, but I promised people I'd go live. I like to stick to my word. We missed last week. I will keep you guys posted on Bobbie. I have no idea what's going to be going on in the future. I know she has a partial or temporary thing that's going on right now, and then we're going to figure out what we're going to do as far as putting teeth back in. I'm not sure if we're going to be doing vinyls or what. Like you guys know, we own our own business. We pay for our own insurance. So, you never know what it's going to cost. So far, I think we're looking at somewhere around 20 grand. So we'll see. We don't know. We got to wait and make sure everything is good before they start doing anything. She still has pockets of infection all over that's still draining. Her eyes are no longer black. Her face is going down some, but still on a lot of antibiotics. And now the antibiotics are causing problems, breaking her out in sores and things like that because she's on two at the same time. I'm not sure, but we will keep you posted when something else comes up. Right now, I'm taking over in the field and on the computer until she gets better, and then we'll keep you guys updated when something happens or changes. Right now, she's just stable and things are slightly getting better. So, hopeful, but it's just like I said, it's just really scary if it happens again because no antibiotics are working. So, thank everybody for the prayers for the people that come back and watch this. I know I said I'm leaving and we got people checking out. Before you leave, I want to tell everybody thank you for coming in. Again, this was kind of unexpected, but I didn't want to not say we was going to go and then not go. So Saturday night, somewhere between 6:30 and 7, I think we're also going to have the Gurus thing going on Saturday nights instead of me going live Sunday. I'm going to hop on board and start on Saturday nights, which is fine. I went tonight to get you guys used to it. Not trying to step on toes, but there's a lot of things going on Saturday night. So we'll see how that happens, but it will be Saturday night from now on until the weather warms back up, and we'll change over to Sundays. Thank you guys for participating and coming in. And as always, you guys keep on keeping on, and I'll do my best to see you on the next one. We love you guys. Thank you for all the prayers for the people that went in the live but are watching now. Thank you very much for the prayers and the concerns, all the emails and the text messages. Um, we really appreciate it. So thank you guys. Love you. And again, we'll see you on the next one.